Hey everyone, welcome back to the Good e-Reader Radio Show. My name is Michael. It's October the 13th, 2015 here at goodereader.com. And before we get started on the show today, I wanted to give you guys an idea of some housekeeping that we're doing around here. If you're not familiar, we have a forum that you could discuss the latest happenings in the e-reader world. goodereader.com/forum/ and you can click on the forum on our website, so you can check that out. Speaking of our website, it's now faster than ever. We have done our best to greatly enhance both the news website, so that's goodereader.com/blog, and we have drastically increased the performance of our Android App Store client. So this is like the App Store that you install on your Android phone or tablet or your BlackBerry device, as well as our website at apps.goodereader.com. We've really done our best to dramatically increase the speed. We moved hosting providers. So Good e-Reader was hosted on a server in Texas for about the last 5 years or so. In the world of servers, our machine was getting a little bit outdated, so we moved to a new top-of-the-line server, as well as we've offloaded all of our imaging to Amazon. So no matter where you really live in the world, you're going to be served all of our assets at pretty fast speeds. So what's new? Well, there's been a lot of new tablets that have come out in the last little while since we've talked to you last here on the Good e-Reader Radio Show. My top 5, so if you're looking to get a new tablet for this year, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, insert non-denominational, non-secular holiday here. Here's my picks. So the iPad Pro, this has been something that I feel like I've been teased for about the last 3 years. And Apple finally announced and is immediately going to be releasing it. So it's their first large screen tablet bigger than 9.7 inches. This is 12.9 inches. Resolution is the best that they've ever done in a tablet. And it doesn't weigh that much more than, say, the iPad Air, if you've ever messed around with that. I think that this device will be absolutely perfect for ebooks, reading magazines and newspapers, consuming digital content. As you guys know, if you have an iPhone, iPod Touch, or an iPad, the Apple ecosystem is amazing. This is sort of, if you look at, say, the big apps from like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and things like that, the iOS apps tend to get updated more frequently. I've talked to a lot of guys at Kobo, and they treat iOS as like their flagship operating system. So they'll test new features, they'll put in cool new stuff before it ever makes its way over to Android and maybe their Windows 10 e-reading apps. So one thing I like about the iPad Pro is the Apple Pen. So it's pressure sensitive. It behaves much like the Galaxy Note or a Wacom. It's got some sensors inside for detecting position, force, and tilt. It's pretty expensive. It's going to be like around $800 or so. But if you're looking for something just to have around the house, like I don't know how much you would take the iPad Pro out with you, because it's big. It's not going to fit in your purse. It'll fit in like a messenger bag or like a briefcase if you're bringing it to work for work purposes. But I think that this is a home-based tablet. But it might be good too if you're a student. Speaking of students, Microsoft Surface 4, this is their basically the 4th generation. Microsoft really kind of pioneered the concept of melding a tablet with like a keyboard. And the keyboard has been dramatically increased, as well as their pen has been the performance has been enhanced as well. So the pen magnetically attaches to the tablet now instead of that awkward fabric loop, and the pen has over 1100 levels of pressure sensitivity, and it has pixel sense technology built into the display. There's even interchangeable nibs now to vary the tip's shape. So if you're into like drawing with Photoshop or doing editing or just reading, I think that the Microsoft tablet is good merely because it runs desktop apps. So Adobe Photoshop, Kindle for PC, things like that. Google Pixel C. This is a tablet that I'm fairly behind. It's an Android tablet, and it has super processing power. It's also pretty cheap too. It starts at $4.99 and it goes all the way to $5.99. There's an optional keyboard, but I think the keyboard for the Pixel C is better than what Apple or what Microsoft's doing with their tablets. $50 Kindle Fire tablet. Fairly compelling. This is a bottom of the barrel type tablet. It doesn't really blow you away with specs, but it has 2 cameras. It has a quad core processor. It's enough to really kind of give you an e-reading tablet, but I think that this is the type of like secondary display for your computer. This is for having it in the kitchen, and it doesn't really matter if you drop flour or eggs on it, if you're working under a car, if you're giving it to your kids to muck around with. It's pretty well as close as you can get to a disposable tablet. The antithesis of a disposable tablet, I guess, is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 for Nook. It's $400 plus. It's pretty well the best tablet that Barnes & Noble has ever created. Now, this is a Samsung branded tablet, but Barnes & Noble has a lot of apps on it. They're giving you a ton of free content too. So there's going to be 20 books available. You can pick 3. They'll also give you $5 in Nook credit, so you can buy whatever you want in the Barnes & Noble ecosystem. We have a poll that I think you guys will like. Every few weeks we run a different poll on the website, and it's been about 5 days since we started our poll, and 411 people weighed in. We asked the question, have you lost faith in ebooks? And some of the feedback is fairly positive. 43%. So it's about 180 votes say, I love ebooks, my faith continues unabated. And I would probably say people are split between, I continue to buy ebooks but buy more print, and ebooks are getting expensive. Speaking of expensive or lack thereof, we've done 2 app reviews that I think that you guys will really get behind. Okay, so I'll give you a little sort of history on me. I love magazines. I not only read in the bathroom, but I read like as I'm going to bed. I much more prefer to read print as I'm kind of going to sleep, because I kind of find that I stare at a screen for like 12 hours a day for Good e-Reader, like researching, writing stories, writing articles. If you're a regular visitor to our blog, I publish like between 4 and like 10 stories in a single day sometimes. So I stare at a screen a lot. The last thing I kind of want to do as I'm simmering down for the evening is to stare at my iPad or my iPhone Plus, my 6 Plus. So I like print. So I buy like a lot of print for books that I want to read and want to reread at certain points. I find for ebooks, I'm more or less buy like disposable books, but for magazines, I go to my local Chapters Indigo, and there's a few kind of magazines that I like. There's a magazine called Play TM. It's a UK magazine. It's based on the video game industry, but what I really like about it is that they have a lot of interviews with a lot of lead developers, like the kind of interviews that they don't really give interviews a lot, like Miyamoto and a lot of the guys that like Kojima that does like Metal Gear. These guys are notorious for not really giving a lot of interviews, but Game TM focus more on like the business of video games. So they get a lot of kind of cool interviews, a lot of introspective stories. They do like feature length stories on like women in video games, where they just talk to like women game developers and talk about kind of cool games over the last few years that have just been done, either for mobile or for AAA titles where women have played like a front and center role. So because a lot of the magazines I buy are like imports, so they're not made in North America, I'm paying anywhere between like $25 and like $30 a title. So quite frequently I'll buy like 3 magazines and be paying like $80. So I was kind of looking for alternatives. What can I do to like save money but not pirate? So I was granted a few press accounts for Texture, formerly known as Next Issue, and for Magzter. Now, both Texture and Magzter, via Magzter Gold, have unlimited reading subscriptions for magazines. Let's talk about Texture first. I did 2 videos on this. If you want to check out my kind of take on it and see like the UI, the interface, what I think about it going through the app, you can go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/goodyreader, and it's our 2 most recent videos. By the time you listen to this, it still should be on like the front page. So Texture's biggest strength is their catalog of content. If you live in North America, you're going to be very happy with the selection. They have like Wired, Entrepreneur, PC Gamer, Forbes, Consumer Report, Car and Driver. They have like all the women's magazines. They have a lot of stuff, and this is the type of stuff that I would find in my Chapters Indigo that's published from like North American publishers, or if you're in the States at your Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, your grocery store, any type of magazine that you'd see on a shelf or on Texture. So it's $9.99 a month for the basic level subscription and $12.99 for the deluxe. And really only the differences with the subscription level that costs a little bit more is that you get the weekly magazines, so like Entertainment Weekly and then things like that. So you get like about 60 different magazines that you wouldn't normally get with the basic level tier. I really like the interface. It's probably the most polished magazine app. So I tested Zinio, I tested Magzter, I tested like Texture, and I found that Texture's UI probably is the best. So I think that overall reading is brilliant. You really get the magazines in HD level quality, and I kind of like the interactive features. So you'd be reading a magazine and it'll have like follow the author on Twitter or follow the interviewee on like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or things like that, and you just click on it and you go right to like Twitter, you go right to their Facebook page. So there's a lot of interactive features to it. I also like it how they kind of curate content. So often you might see an issue of Rolling Stone and they'll be interviewing someone, a famous celebrity, someone controversial, and you want to just read the cover story. Instead of downloading the magazine, which takes like about 30 to 45 seconds depending on your connection, they have curated content in each category. So for like entertainment, fashion magazines, tech and science, and things like that. And you can actually read the cover story without downloading the magazine, which I find is pretty cool. You can kind of stay on top of the news. They also have, things for magazine and articles for cooking a Thanksgiving Day turkey, because it was Thanksgiving in Canada today, so they had like a section on Thanksgiving and things like that. I think it's a really solid app. For like $12.99 a month. I think you can't go wrong. They have a 30-day free subscription for the basic level tier, so you can check out Next Issue on Android or iOS. And the other app I looked at was Magzter. So if Texture's greatest strength is being North American friendly, Magzter's greatest strength is that they really appeal to an international audience. So they'll have things like Vogue. They won't have the US version of Vogue or the United Kingdom one, but they'll have it from like India, they'll have it from Singapore, they'll have it from like the Philippines, they'll have it from like France. So you'll have things from different parts of the world, and you might be able to discover magazines that you wouldn't otherwise. During my review of it, I actually saw a magazine about cats, and what caught my attention was that it was written by cats for cats. And I opened it up on the video, and it's actually kind of humorous because it gave like the authors, and it was just pictures of cats, and it was just hilarious. And I kind of discovered that there's a lot of indie content on Magzter, so there's a lot of like self-published stuff on there, and it's kind of cool because you can get stuff that you just can't find anywhere else. Additionally, they have comics, graphic novels, and manga. They're the only company that has a relationship with Viz Media where you can read the latest Shonen Jump. So you can be on top of all the new manga that comes out as soon as it hits like the street date. I found that it's pretty cool for tech, but, I can't download Wired. They don't really have a relationship for North America for, like, Condé Nast. So I think that Magzter probably makes the most sense if you live outside of North America and live in other countries. I find that you're going to be really happy with your local content that's on there, stuff that just simply Next Issue really doesn't have. So, if you are interested in fashion, I actually wrote a really awesome article and had a ton of pictures based on e-ink. Now, e-ink is this e-paper display that's on your Nook, on your Kobo, on your Kindle, but they actually have a ton of e-ink fashion that's out there. I know, but they actually have like Bluetooth headsets, they have necklaces, they have bracelets and bangles, of course they have watches, but they also are developing e-ink clothes, e-ink like credit cards, and you'll be able to put this all together with e-ink shoes. And I guess like the big thing with all these e-ink clothing accessories is that you could upload your own designs to it, and you could upload like your own branding, your own, you simply just like edit something kind of cool in Photoshop and you could upload it. So I really am looking forward to the day where I can get like an e-ink shirt and I could just like customize stuff on it every day if I want to. Not that I'd wear the same shirt every day, but if I had an e-ink shirt, it would sure be tempting. But I don't know how safe it would be to like wash. Yeah, those are one of the big difficulties. So I guess since the last time I talked to you guys, Kobo released something new. It was like a new loyalty rewards program where you earn points if you make purchases on ebooks, if you like buy magazines and stuff like that online. So this Kobo loyalty program kind of gives you a chance to be able to use your points to save money on future ebook purchases, but they're also used to get like free content. So there is a catalog of about 30,000 titles that you can use your points to download for free, and Kobo is actually running a contest right now where you could win like trips and prizes. Let me just see if I can find this. I'll put it in the description for like this video, but it's called Share the Love Contest, and it's sharethelove.kobo.com. Grand prize: once in a lifetime travel experience for 2. Choose from 3 exciting locations with double exclamation mark. $1,000 weekly prize, daily prizes, Kobo e-readers, and Kobo Super Points. I took a look at what the contest was, and it was like, what are you reading right now? And you could either upload like a picture of the book that you're reading, or you could write like a text-based blurb. So I don't know how many people are going to be entering this contest, so you actually could stand a pretty good chance of winning it. Kobo just announced it on their Facebook page. So, and it had like 3 shares, and it was been posted like 17 hours ago. So if you want to enter this contest, you could win some stuff. The trips are to South America, Europe, or the South Seas. Approximate value, Canadian, 11 to 13,000. It's only available from residents in Canada and the US and the UK, so it's not even worldwide. So you may want to check that out. So that's about it for the radio show. I'm going to try to do this a little bit more often because there's a lot of stories I read I don't cover for the website, and I think that you guys would find it fairly captivating. So you've been listening to the Good Reader Radio Show. My name is Michael, and everybody take care.